This is Lions on Tap, a weekly look inside the Lions Den, presented by Coors Light, the chilled choice and official beer of the BC Lions. Highlights, interviews, and a look ahead to this week's game. Now, here are your hosts, Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, and the voice of your BC Lions, Bob the Moj Marjanovic.
Welcome to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW. You heard the man, the Moj, Nick Baker, or Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski. Hey, that's the Barton Banker speaking from Victoria. We're coming to you tonight from Speed's Pub in Ladner, and what an all-star cast it is here. Ronnie Patterson. Oh, the legend himself, the BC Hockey Hall of Famer. You want to talk about legends tonight, Matt Baker? How about this? Jim Mills in the house. All-time 50 greatest, or pardon me, all 50 greatest years of BC football, whatever
50th
that.
anniversary.
Yeah, whatever.
Dream
Thank
team.
you.
Yes.
You spit it out.
Yes.
The GOAT's here. Wally Buono. Mr. 500. Sean Whyte's in the house. The Nick Saban of Richmond football. Jeff Lochbaum. He's here. The Guinness World Record holder, Bobby DeBow. Forget about that Chris guy. The Inquirer signs up on that one. Hart Pandir, the voice of Punjabi radio, the Lions. He's here. And, of course, the Prez, Dwayne Vanneau, and Ronald Kent Jr., the BC Lions. Ronnie, how'd you lure all these people in here? Gift certificates?
I told him you were going to be here, Moj.
Oh, man, I'm still recovering from Victoria.
Well, it's almost as packed as it was at the Victoria show.
I'm telling you, this is autopilot. Your old cohort from Molson, Brent Doby.
Yes.
Molson rep in Victoria,
Yes.
the Barton the Banker Thursday night, they overserved me.
Well, I know for a fact that he's one of us, and you know what? The fact that he gravitated to you doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it was a fun night. It was a great weekend in Victoria. We'll get into all of that with Sean Whyte here in a couple of seconds' time. But tell us a little bit about Speed's Pub and Ladner. You guys got this place hopping tonight.
Yeah, you know what? We're really good at a lot of things in terms of food and the game of hockey. But we thought, you know what? This is our window of opportunity for the fall to embrace the game of football, which was a novel idea, and with the Grey Cup coming up, we just thought that we would jump on the BC Lions bandwagon and do everything we can to dedicate some energy around the game and the success of the event. And here we are, and we got some great people here and embracing a lot of loyalty, and we're very, very proud.
Well, I'll tell you what, you come on board at a good time, 38-12 victory against Ottawa in Victoria. Man, what an event that was. But again, for people that are wondering about Speed's Pub and Ladner, if they want to get more info about it and talk a little bit about this pub, because you just bought it, within the last year or so?
Yes,
right?
we do. And Daryl Ponnick's here, and he's the director of culinary here, and we've really embraced the whole food element. And with the ambiance here, Moj, it's been a fun summer. We've been overwhelmed in terms of the level of success that we've enjoyed, and we just are really, really grateful that we're a part of this community, and it's working out really, really well.
And for people that don't know, you're right on the water. Like right on the mighty Fraser here.
Yes,
so you look up,
nice
back
patio.
deck, and you're right on the water. So.
Yes, it's where the memories start, Moj.
Okay, I'm going to leave that one alone. Ronnie, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
that is
guys.
Ron Patterson, of course, formerly with Molson, and now the owner and proprietor of Speed's Pub, Ladner here, of course, Legends Pub in Richmond as well, and the Landing in Ladner. Well, gentlemen,
Quite a list.
38-12, the win over the Ottawa Red Blacks on Sunday. Before we get to Sean Whyte, I got to ask you, have you guys recovered? Because it was all hands on deck this weekend. No matter what job you had, it was a long weekend. It was a lot of hard work, but it was nice to see the way it ended.
Yeah, and Rick Campbell said it best. He took the time at the start of his post-game media availability to basically acknowledge and thank everyone who's not a player or a coach. And, all hands on deck, you said it. It takes a team to pull off an event like that, and I had a blast. I know we all did too. I know our next guest here, Sean Whyte, did as well, and can't say enough about it, Nikki.
Yeah, we're still putting out content too. So if you go to the BC Lions YouTube page, I spent the last kind of 15 hours in the last 2 days putting together a long-form event recap. We'll get into this with Ronald Kent Jr., but we just gave him like a little digital VHS kind of style camera and said, go film this week. So
yeah, that was the best part. Barton Banker were preparing for the show, and Ronald walks in with a camera device. There was a little bit of a documentary going on.
Hey, I saw the video today, 13 minutes, the game recap, and actually the Victoria recap. And one of the things you mentioned in your Twitter account was the speech by TJ Lee that it gave you goosebumps. What was it about that speech that kind of got you all fired up? Because you see this all the time, right? You see it every game.
I thought it was a little different, just like the what-if factor, like the not playing with any doubts. There's just a couple speeches. There was actually one that never got to air we see all these speeches, right?
Yeah.
But there was one in the week prior in Ottawa too from Coach Rick that I thought was 10 out of 10. It just kind of gives me like goosebumps thinking about like no doubt today. Like just go play out there, no mistake-free mindset and all that, and it showed on the field.
Well, I think, it kind of echoes what they always talk about, the team does, reset, refocus, dominate, all that stuff. And that's the whole thing I think TJ was getting across. If something bad happens, keep that mindset, right? Yeah. Don't let one bad play kind of get you down in the dumps. So it was a great little speech by TJ, and it got the fellas going. And one of the fellas joins us right here. I'm calling him Mr. 500 now. Sean Whyte.
500 what? Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Field goals.
Yeah. 500 games. I'd be like 50 years old.
Hey, it was a rough night. Hey, it was a rough night the night before.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So it was just congratulations, by the way.
Thank you
on that, and then congratulations on the 38-12 win.
Yeah, that was big. We really needed that win, and that whole atmosphere that you're talking about, that was amazing. I hope we do that again next year. That was fun to play in.
Do you know the one thing, Sean, and we kind of touched on this even before the game. You're in the middle of a grind. 11 games already in, 5-6. You're in a 5-game losing streak. You have some players like Ronald Kent Jr. coming out of college.
Yeah.
The fact, that's a season for him, 11 games already, right? And the fact that you got 3 days in Victoria to kind of recharge your batteries, have the opportunity to hang out with your teammates, guy position groups, going out for dinner, hanging out, doing things.
Yep.
It just seemed it was kind of like the spark that you needed to get things back on track.
I said it going on the weekend, like some guys, I got to travel, I got to do this. We could have been playing in the Dome, and I'm like, well, guys, this.
Hey, I was one of those people too.
Yeah, but I've gone to Moncton on the Atlantic games and all that, and it was so much fun. I'll never forget those games. But to go to Victoria, where it was so beautiful, there was so much to do, the people were so happy to be there, and I'm like, guys, this is the part of football that you got to enjoy. Road trips are always the best, but this is a miniature Grey Cup in a way. And when we do go to Grey Cup, they're going to really see how those weeks go. Like, it's tough not to hit the streets. So we had a great time bonding, and we got to get to know each other a little bit more. Hung out with a different groups of guys. It was a lot of fun. Everyone was everywhere.
You had some family come in and enjoy it too, right? Yeah. How special was that?
It was awesome. My cousin Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
He came from Nanaimo, and my mom and dad showed up. So they had a great week. Anything my mom and dad have fun at, it's great for me, and they get to experience what I do, and I get to share it. For a long period of my career, I didn't get to share my life. So now I get to share it with the people I love. I got my aunt and uncle in the corner watching right now. So these things are special, and I'm glad I'm still playing at this age.
It's interesting because we were on the other side from the Lions bench. We're on the Ottawa sideline, and we're kind of removed from it. You got the headsets on. You don't really hear the crowd noise that much. But, when you were on field level on that side with the bleachers, what was that like?
It was awesome, man. It really was awesome. And I know growing up as a kid playing rugby on the mainland, you go to the island, and they have all the fans out there. And we never had the fans on the mainland show up like that for rugby games. So I'm like, man, I wish I was an island team. I get to experience that. And finally, I was there to experience that, and they're on my side. It was loud. I actually went out to, because we're on a grass field. I wanted to go and get more reps pregame. I don't normally do that. I went out by myself. I came out of the tunnel before the team did, and I got my own standing ovation. It was loud. It gave me chills. And that's why we do it as athletes. You want that feeling. And it was really cool. And I really hope it happens again.
Hey, between rugby and the Lions game now, have you ever lost on the island?
Pretty sure I lost that one time on that field. I missed one, and Andrew Harris ran it up the sideline. I remember that.
You played junior there as well. That's right.
Yeah, in 2004, I played on that field.
Surrey Rams.
Yeah. The field was just a little bit better, though.
Yeah. As we move along to Montreal, and that's a team that you're familiar with, having spent time there in that city, do you feel like it's back on track now, that the guys are playing with that confidence they had prior to this skid?
Absolutely. Having Betts back, too. It's not like we lost him. And he comes back to it. It's like completed that team. You get that feeling of last year back again, and Rourke's now back, and I feel it's so hard for a quarterback just to roll in and be great right off the bat. You need that chemistry with everyone around you. And last game, you could finally see that chemistry coming back, and some amazing catches from the receivers. Defense was unbelievable, I thought. And special teams, we just got to keep playing solid. But team's right on track where we need to be. But we never had any doubt, man. I feel like a lot of us just need to get our legs back. And we're healthy. and rolling right now, and I think the confidence is up, but it always has been, man. This is a special group of guys.
Moj mentioned your time with the Alouettes. What do you love most about going there? I know it's unique with the backdrop at the university, and those horns are always blaring for 60 straight minutes. You still find it a fun place to play?
It's one of my favorite trips of the year. I think a lot of the guys that go there for the first time are going to go, well, we're in Europe or something right now.
Yeah.
It's such a cool feel, and a summer night's game there at McGill is one of the most beautiful things you could ever look at. I love playing there. I love the people. It's going to be so loud. I was watching film today, and it was just a packed stadium. It's like the old school Montreal days. So they're going to be loud. Those horns are going to be blazing. The game's going to be intense. There's two top teams going after it. So, this is where you measure yourself in the league, and we got to win this one.
You mentioned those air horns in Montreal. I know you're someone who likes to interact with the fans behind the sideline. Does that bother you? Do you care? Do you think the players care, or is that overblown?
Oh, yeah. We're always telling like, shut up. But once you start playing, you don't hear it. But it's just always on the sideline. You have time to look around, and that's when you hear those things. But it's all good fun. I want it to be tough. I want them to be talking to me. I want all that stuff to happen. That's why we do this. We go to compete.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, Montreal. It's just such a unique environment. And the crazy thing is, you talk about it being one of your favorite places to play. Everybody will tell you the amenities there are horrible, right? No, they are.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The locker rooms are tiny.
Yeah, I was beside the washroom last time by myself in a corner.
The broadcast location is horrible. One of these swivel chairs that must have been installed like 1936 or something.
Yeah, Wally played there then, I think.
Shot across. Hey, he's going to have the final word because he's coming on the last segment, so you got to be careful.
Have said that.
I know. But the thing is, even with all of those things, like you go to Calgary, and I'm just not. To me, it's the worst stadium in the league. I don't care what anyone says. But to me, Montreal has a bit of charm to it. Yeah, okay, the amenities aren't there, but there's a charm to Montreal that Calgary's completely missing.
It's beautiful, and the dressing rooms flood too. If it's a hard rainstorm, it gets through there, and you have floods everywhere, all in the locker room. But like I said, if you're on that north side of the stadium looking at the city, it looks amazing from there.
Yeah, it does.
So it looks amazing.
Sean, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Sean Whyte, Lions kicker, joining us here for a couple minutes' time. One of the guests here tonight at Speed's Pub in Ladner. Ronnie Patterson has everybody out here tonight as he celebrates the game of football. As we mentioned, Jim Mills from the BC Lions 50th decade team, whatever the hell you want to call
50th anniversary dream team. We'll write it in your notes.
Okay, write it down. 50th anniversary dream team. There you go. Jim Mills, one of the all-time greats. Wally Buono's here, as we mentioned as well, and we're going to get to Wally in the final segment. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Lions rookie halfback Ronald Kent Jr. He was part of the reconfigured secondary against the Ottawa Redblacks, one that Gary Peters says give the Lions the best chance to win. We'll talk to him about his rookie season, some of the veterans that have helped him out, and the way the team's going. Next, he joins us. Ronald Kent Jr. You're listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW.
Now, back to more of Lions on Tap, presented by Coors Light. Once again, here are Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, and Bob the Moj Marjanovic.
Welcome back to Lions on Tap, coming to you from 4943 Chisholm Street in Ladner. You're wondering, were we at a house? No, we're at Speed's Pub in Ladner, Ronnie Patterson's establishment out here. It's right on the Fraser River, and we're watching the sunset here and the river, and it's just so scenic. It's absolutely beautiful. And, of course, this is a new endeavor for Ron. He owns Legends Pub in Richmond. He also has the Ladner Landing. But they've got this now, Speed's Pub. They've had it for a little over a year, and they're having a bit of a football celebration tonight. We've got a whole bunch of people in here that we mentioned earlier. Jim Mills, one of the all-time greats for the BC Lions, part of their 50th anniversary dream team. Sean Whyte's here tonight. Jeff Lockbaum, I refer to him as the Nick Saban of Richmond. The GOAT's here, Wally Buono. He'll join us in the final segment. So a lot of stuff going on. But our next guest is actually someone who is currently on the BC Lions, Ronald Kent, starting halfback on the wide side, teaming up with Seontae Evans, coming off a 38-12 win. Ronald, congratulations.
Appreciate you. Yeah, it was a good win. Good to get back in that win column. So it was gonna.
How was the environment for Victoria from your perspective?
It was awesome for me. Like, I was just telling them I never been on an island before, and I mean it was pretty cool. It was a lot of stuff to do, a lot of great sceneries, and I was talking to Matt. They had some good at Redfish, Bluefish. They had some good fish and chips. Oh my God! So yeah, it was an awesome time.
Yeah, those fish and chips. the lady in front of me said, "Don't worry, this lineup is worth it." It was about half an hour. It moved faster than it looked, and to die for. Just the whole process and how it played out. I think it was after we checked in. I was in the elevator with you, and I kind of was talking, and we're like, back in this week. I mean, how's it been for you? And you're like, well, something along the lines of, it's always frustrating to not play, but you just have to trust the process. What was that like these last few weeks, the mindset trying to go back in?
Not playing for 4 weeks, like I kind of just sat back, rewatched film, and I really just leaned on my guys, leaned on my veterans, and just kept watching them in practice, asking them questions. What can I do better? What can I do that? So I just kind of just leaned on them, and I went out as practice like it was a game. It was a game for me at practice. Like I was having fun. I was flying around, and I just wanted to be back on the field, but I also wanted to get more knowledge on the game and learn from those guys like Gary Peters, Seontae Evans, and TJ Lee.
What did it mean to you to have those guys in your corner? Because, you talk to Gary, and he loves the way you play. And he says that kid's going to be a player in this league for a long time. So when you hear veterans talk like that and give you that type of confidence, what's it mean to you?
It means the world to me, for real, because like a year ago I wasn't doing nothing. I was a health teacher, and I was coaching middle school, so I wasn't doing nothing. I stayed in shape, and coming back here, and next thing you know, I'm made the active roster and started and been playing and stuff like that. So like when I hear stuff like that, man, it's just a blessing. It's just God.
And I know we talked about this previously, but for you, that's motivation as well. When those guys put that type of stock in you and invest in you, you want to make sure that you do good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is you mentioned it. You had that time where you're starting a few games. You had 4 or 5 weeks off. You come back. And the second time around, you kind of know what to expect a little bit more, because it's a big ask for a rookie to come into this league and pick up the game immediately. But now at least you feel a little bit more comfortable.
Oh, yeah, I feel super, super more comfortable. And, like, just because I have Seontae Evans right outside of me, and then I have TJ Lee, which he switched to Sam this week, and he's right in front of me. So just going out there just like with that, like I had so much confidence. Just learning the tempos of people's waggles, it was kind of like hard. People run at you really, really fast and then break it down, or they just run past you or whatever. So, I mean, I do feel way more comfortable, especially practicing against our guys, like Hatchard and all those. They make you uncomfortable, so you feel comfortable in the game.
I was watching the rebroadcast, and Gary Peters postgame with our resident sideline reporter on TV for the week was saying that he felt that the defense came out with an intensity he hadn't seen all year. How much would you concur with that, sir?
I agree with that. Like TJ before the game, man, he was pumped up. Like what you were saying, like he was pumped up. Like what if we just give that 1 extra %? What if we just go out there and just do our job? What if we just play good? And like he kind of pumped us up that pregame, and we took it all in, and we came out and we played like we ain't have nothing to lose.
What about the environment too? It's pretty unique, playing with the fans right on top of you. It was a baseball stadium after all, but the city overall too. Like we gave you that digicam. We've since taken all the content, put it together, but the whole environment. Just speak on that.
The environment was crazy. Just walking up and down Government Street, like it was so awesome. I had the little camera and just recording everything and just like taking it all in, because like I said, a year ago I wasn't doing anything, so I'm just blessed and thankful to be here. What's
one funny thing I saw too from this week? I was just looking at our players' Instagram stories, and I saw Boseko Lacumbo's story, and there was like a big. Liam and I saw this too on Friday night, but there was probably upwards of like 1,000 bikes just going down the street on Friday night, and you were there. You saw that, right? Because I saw you like dancing with. They were having like a dance party. Yeah, that was crazy, right?
They were playing music on the bikes and stuff. It was really fun. There was a lot of bikes. Yeah.
I want to get back to the game, and to me, one of the biggest series in that game was early. And that's when they had that big return after the Lions had scored the touchdown. And they had the ball, I don't know, something like the 43 or 44.
Yeah.
And that was like, that to me was probably it's very early in the game, but to me it was a turning point. Because I feel like if they score there, they get a field goal or they get a touchdown, that momentum that you had right out of the get-go kind of gets deflated. Now you're facing that adversity, you're testing. But the defense went out there 2-0 and forced them to punt. I was like, wow. And then it happened later in the game as well after another big return. And again, it was, first and 10 of the beat. And I think had they scored there, it would have been a 2-score game. So it wasn't like, they still would have been striking distance. Yeah. But again, you guys had a 2-0.
Yeah, you can't control everything, you got to control what you can control. If something happens on special teams or offense, you just got to go out there and play the best. Like, if anything, they get a field goal. Or if anything, they get nothing. So you just got to go out there, have that bend, don't break mindset, and just keep going, keep playing.
Ronald Kent Jr. is our guest, BC Lions starting halfback on the wide side. How do you like that? A starting halfback. That sounds good. Hey, tell us a little bit about your journey in the game of football. You came out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Yeah. How did you get involved in football?
Actually, I started playing football when I was 5 years old, and I also started playing. I also wrestled when I was 5 too. Just growing up, going to the high school games and watching LaShawn McCoy play, I think that really let a spark into me because he was really, really good.
Oh wow!
So, okay. Yes, because he played at McDevitt, which was our rivalry in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But that, and also my 2 older brothers, they play football, so my mom always brought me and my little brother around football since we were 3 years old, 2 years old. So we just kind of got into it, and then honestly, I didn't really like football at that young age. For I was more of a baseball player. I love baseball.
I see you being a second baseman, shortstop type. Maybe a speedy leadoff hitter in center field.
I was a center field. I was a center fielder, and I was leadoff.
Jeez, how'd I guess that?
But growing up playing, I also ran track growing up in high school. So I just played a lot of sports, and honestly, I didn't think football would get me this far. I just. God is amazing, so he just works in mysterious ways.
So how did you realize that you had a future in football? What was the turning point?
It was probably my junior year of high school. I started getting offers from these little D1 schools, and I ran with it. I first played at Western Carolina for 4 years. They recruited me out of high school, and I went down there and was an All-American, all SoCon or whatever, and next thing you know, COVID happened and they gave me an extra year, and I went down to play at Central Michigan with my little brother, and now I'm here. It's crazy.
Take us through the process from leaving Central Michigan to being where you are today.
Oh, it was hard. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie. It was really hard. I thought after my pro day, I thought I was gonna get phone calls. Atlanta Falcons, they called me and saying that they were interested and stuff like that, but that was a one-time thing, and I didn't hear anything. And I truly believe football was over. And I found my peace in coaching and coaching track and coaching and teaching high school. I found my peace. And then January this year, Ryan, what's his name?
Maiden, yeah.
Yeah. He called me, and man, he changed my life. I never stopped working out. My agents believed in me. He didn't go away from me. He kept believing in me, and I kept believing in myself. And now I'm here. It's a testament.
And what was that process? Were you at a free agent camp, or how did it come to be that Ryan tracked you down? Through game film, or
it had to be from. Yeah. He said he's been tracking me and been watching my game film, but I didn't have a tryout or anything. He just called me up, and I was like, "Yep, let's do it."
And then, when you went to camp, and I know, Nick, you could probably weigh in on this, you guys kind of had a sense that Ronald Kent Jr. was going to be part of this team. And you guys kind of chronicled his whole journey through training camp,
Arrow
right?
up, yeah.
Yeah, you were a star, like Moj said, hands on the ball every day, it seemed like in practice. But another aspect, too, of your journey is, I remember talking about this when we were chronicling you for Arrow Up, is that along this path where you didn't get that NFL call, the pandemic still kind of lingering in the back rearview mirror there. But I remember you were mentioning that you had your puppy Faith for emotional support, right? And that was something that you leaned on during those times, and it even created more adversity for you, right?
Right, yeah. My dog was my everything, She was a 3-year-old golden retriever mixed with a Bernese mountain dog, and after not getting drafted, I wasn't hurt as much because I know I had someone that. So when I walk into this door, she's gonna be like, "Oh my God, hi, where have you been?" So they gave me that emotional support, so I didn't really complain or cry over not getting to the NFL. But during that year I didn't play football, I had lost her, so she passed away. She had opened the door of the room, or opened the door of the house, and went out, and when I found her, she was gone. So going through that, and then that I was low for a while, And going through that kind of like, you know, helped me get closer to God, you know, because I didn't know my purpose at the time. So, but I put my head down and I kept working out and I kept training and I kept, you know, taking it day by day, one day at a time, and that led me to here.
Hey, you mentioned Shady McCoy. I just looked this up as well. Mike Parsons from Dallas.
Yeah,
Why, okay, you got to tell us something. There's got to be a story there because you're laughing.
No. Mike, that's my guy. You know, it's crazy, actually. When we played Toronto the first game, he was actually in Toronto, and the day we flew in, he asked me to come out and hang out with him. So
no way.
I got the chance to hang out with him before the Toronto game, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, that's my guy. You know, he's all about business.
So you guys went to the same high school?
Yeah, we actually played together. We graduated together.
So you graduated together?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great Super Bowl story if we bump into him.
Yeah.
Hey, you know Ronald Kent Jr.? Right?
Yeah, that's my guy. He's pretty down to earth too. So you know.
I'll tell you one thing though. Like I watched that guy play.
Oh man.
He's a freak.
I should have saw him in high school. He was a running back.
Seriously, he's a running back?
Oh my God, my head coach gave him the ball, and after that, like it was over. Like he took us all the way to state championship. Or we lost, but
you play both ways too?
Yeah. He played DN and
no,
running
you.
back. Oh yeah, I play receiver and corner. Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, his athleticism is just it's absolutely scary.
He was going to camps, playing corner, locking up like 4 or 5-star receivers in like a little camp. Like it was insane to see.
Yeah, I bet. Like I said, he's a freak of an athlete. More coming up with Ronald Kent Jr. of the BC Lions. Again, we're coming to you from Speed's Pub, 4943 Chisholm Street in Ladner. Absolutely gorgeous location right on the mighty Fraser. Big shout out to Ronnie Patterson and his staff and a crew of thousands here tonight. Jim Mills is here. Wally Buono's here. Sean Whyte's here. All of it here at the Speeds Pub in Ladner. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, more with Ronald Kent Jr. The Lions, you're listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW.
Now, back to more of Lions on Tap, presented by Coors Light. Once again, here are Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, and Bob the Moj Marjanovic.
This is BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW, coming to you tonight from Speed's Pub in Ladner. Ronnie Patterson's establishment, absolutely gorgeous here, as we mentioned, just on the banks of the mighty Fraser. You got the Fraser right back here, the patio. The sun is setting. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's just a great night tonight with all the people that Ronnie's invited to celebrate football. Of course, we've heard from Sean Whyte. As I mentioned, Jeff Lochbaum, well known in Richmond for his days with the Raiders and, of course, Richmond Colts. He's here. Jim Mills.
Any
Sean
relation
Whyte.
to Kelly Lochbaum?
No, I don't think so. I think they might be cousins.
That's a linebacker.
Bomber, are you related to Kelly Lochbaum at all? Bomber? He's not listening. He's talking to Mills.
I know that name now, though. Fun fact.
There you
Linebacker.
go.
Learning my history.
Just a hunch.
Ronald Kent Jr. is our guest, BC Lions starting halfback. We were talking about this in the break. I mean, usually 11, 12 games in, your college season is over. Now, for you, physically, you haven't played in all 12 of those games, but imagine just the mental grind of, working out every single day, getting prepared every day, watching film every day. Man, you still got a third of the season left.
Yeah,
How you feeling?
I feel good, kind of,
Yeah.
Because like those last games that I didn't play, like obviously mentally it was kind of exhausting because you're learning a new playbook every week and stuff like that. That can be exhausting, but my body I feel awesome. I feel good, and taking notes from actually Gary Peters and TJ how to like just making sure you're stretching that night, like just doing like the little things like working out after practice or working out before practice. So, I'm just trying to learn from them, and that's what it is.
What's been the biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge for me is understanding concepts of like teams, Every team has different concepts. Like Ottawa last week, they run their routes 18, like they run a curl like 18 to 20 yards. Like that's kind of like far for me. Like I'm not used to that. Obviously in college, like they run 12 to 15 type routes and stuff like that. So just learning like each team's like MO and like learning like just like understanding the concepts a little bit better, that's kind of been more challenging. And I meet with RP like in the morning, like for 15 minutes, and that kind of helps. So that's kind of been a challenge.
But it's interesting you mentioned that, because in talking to Pete Robertson a couple of weeks ago, Pete was saying like when he's in the NFL, and we were talking about scout team, and we'll get to that in a sec. But in the NFL, you're there at 7, you leave at 7. And basically, you're being like you're a robot. You're watching film, you're doing this, you're doing that. Here, practices, you're out of the complex if you want to be by 3 o'clock, 2:30, whatever the case. Now you got all this free time, right? In that free time, there's the challenge in itself because what are you doing in that free time? Are you getting maybe a workout in? Are you watching video? Are you being a pro? Are you eating properly? All of those things kind of come into play. And whereas in the NFL, it's more regimented, right? I mean, the pizza, when he was in Arizona, he ate like 3 meals a day at the complex, right? He didn't have to worry about eating healthy. So, I mean, for you, I guess that must be a challenge as well. You have that free time, and you have to spend that wisely.
Yeah, you got to, like you just said, you got to spend it wisely. Like I have a whole routine. I'm a schedule-oriented guy, so, like, I like to do things at this certain time, do this right after that. So, like, after practice, I go work out. Like, that's after practice, I work out. After workout, get in the ice tub. After the ice tub, I go to treatment. After the treatment, I go home.
Routine.
I go home and I watch film for about an hour or two, get my mind a break off of work, football, maybe play the game or watch a show or something with my girlfriend. And then at night before I go to bed, I will fall asleep with the phone in my hand watching film, just because I want to know, like, on like the back of my hand, like that's how good I want to know my opponent. So
yeah, you don't want to be thinking out there. You just want to be reacting.
I just want to go, like, so. And like, it is mentally draining because, like, you're learning a whole new playbook and you're learning like 1 week we're going with something and then the next week it's completely opposite, it's completely different. So it's definitely challenging, but you got to really put the work in to get out there and learn and know.
Montreal will be the last team, I believe, this Lions team faces this year, correct? Yeah. Get them again, last game of the year. It's no secret they're the cream of the crop right now, 10-1, winning games every way possible. What's the challenge like, based on what you've seen so far?
The challenge, I mean, they have a pretty good quarterback, number 7. He's pretty good. You know, I don't really like to toot other people's horn, so I'm not going to. Like, I think it's all about us for real.
It's about this team.
It's about this team, you know. Like, it's about, can we play complementary football? Can we go out there, play defense, play good defense, play good offense, and have great special teams? And that's going to win us the game every single time, because I feel like we are a very powerful team. We just got to put it together.
When we were talking about that film study, too, you just brought up, you say Montreal's quarterback is number 7. And the average fan, I don't think, realizes that. You don't call him Cody Fajardo, and he's the reigning Grey Cup MVP on the Grey Cup championship team. And a couple weeks ago, you were going against Reggie Begelton, one of the best receivers in the league. But to you, he's probably number 84 on Calgary, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's kind of like the fact that you don't know these players' legacy, is that kind of work in your favor because it keeps you confident, or how do you feel about all of that?
He put his pants on the same way I put my pants on. I don't. As a DB, you know, you gotta have that type of confidence. Like, yeah, I mean, after I'm done playing, well, that's good. Oh, yeah, I played against that Hall of Famer or whatever that. But nah, I put my pants on the same way he put his pants on. He run, I run. He catch, I catch. So I ain't too worried about what their names is. Like I say, I go by numbers. I tell you, number 6 and 14 and 17 from Montreal. Like, I know their numbers. So I don't get too caught up in what they did or what they did last game or anything. That's because last game ain't last game. It's this game. So that's just how I am.
I love that attitude. That's awesome. Before we let you go, I just want to talk a little bit about coming to Vancouver as a young man. I mean, what's it been like coming to Canada? I'm assuming probably for the first time. Coming to Vancouver and just seeing what this beautiful city has to offer. And are you used to the money yet?
It's just been a blessing, you know. Like, I never really lived in like I consider this a big city. Where I'm from is like a little city, so I never really lived in like a big city like this. It's pretty cool. Like, there's a lot going on, especially like, you know, just downtown and stuff like that. So, you know, but I am a homebody. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I like to be in the house. Like, I like to be away from everything, just because I had like, just growing up, seeing, like, hearing different stories of people going through certain stuff, and, you know, you just get caught up at the wrong time, at the, you know, the wrong day or whatever. So I like to be safe, and I like to just be in the house. And, you know, I do, me and my girlfriend, we are going to go, like, hiking, hopefully before it gets cold. I don't know when it gets cold out here, but hopefully we just go do something just to explore, you know. But
September bye week will be a good weather.
Yes.
I think I'm going to take it to Victoria because I really liked it there.
Beautiful.
There you go. And then you know where to go for food, too,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Got some great restaurants.
Red fish, blue fish.
Ronald, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. Continued success, and keep working hard, man, because you got a bright future. A lot of people are in your corner, so Keep on working.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me.
Ronald Kent Jr., starting halfback for your BC Lions, joining us here on BC Lions on Tap. Of course, coming to you tonight from Speed's Pub, 4943 Chisholm Street in Ladner. And again, as we mentioned, right on the banks of the mighty Fraser. Well, our next guest is a man who, well, doesn't need much of an introduction. He is the CFL's all-time winningest coach. He is Wally Buono. He is in attendance tonight. Of course, having a little fun here at Speed's Pub in Ladner. And you know the weird thing is, Matt, he's putting a headset on right now.
Yeah.
When he coached, he never had a headset.
That's right.
He might have when he started, I guess, but I don't know. I can't remember watching him have a headset on. And he didn't want to mess up the hair. Was that it, Coach?
No, I didn't need a headset. The offensive line coach needed it more than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I cleared this with your agent. She knows about it, so just
Okay,
get that
so
out of the way. Yeah.
The usual appearance fee? Okay.
Mike will deal with that.
How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing good, thank you.
What's keeping you busy these days?
Well, I'm doing a lot of traveling, visiting the grandkids, making sure that they do well in all their sports and all their activities. I was in Seattle to watch my youngest granddaughter do the hula. They did a 2.5-hour show. It started at, I think, 4, ended at 6:30, and it started at 7 years old to 70 years old.
Wow.
There was like 200 participants.
Hey, speaking of traveling, you were just in Montreal for a reunion, 50-year reunion of the Grey Cup Championship team of '74. What was that like?
That was honestly very, very special to see a lot of your old teammates, and to not have a lot of your old teammates there was quite somber too. So, it was nice to get reacquainted with all those guys. Again, Peter Della Riva, Sonny Wade, Ed George, Larry Smith, a lot of guys that are big names in the CFL and still down to earth as all.
The one thing they always talk about when you win a championship, you walk forever. And even if you're on really good teams, a lot of times you have that bond. Is that bond wear down over the years, or is it still as strong as when you played?
Well, I can't speak for other people, but for myself, it's like yesterday. You see guys that they don't look the same. Their bodies are a lot more beat up, but yet, the emotional ties are still there. And, it was a great weekend. The Alouettes did a great job of hosting us all, and, they made us really, really feel welcome.
I know, speaking of making yourself feel welcome, you were over at Touchdown Pacific in Victoria. What were your thoughts on the game?
Well, I watched it on TV again. I thought it was a great game.
Oh, you didn't go to the game?
No.
But you were in Victoria, though, right?
No.
Because somebody had told me that you would come over Friday night.
Nah.
Okay.
I was there maybe in spirit, but I'd rather, like I said, watch it on TV.
You know who told me? Ronnie Patterson's the person who told me.
Really?
Yeah,
there you go.
Don't believe everything Ronnie tells you, okay?
Jesus, Ronnie gave me bad info.
It was a great game. Great to see the Lions get back on the winning track. And, obviously it took a lot of effort to put on such a great show, and you got to give the Lions a lot of credit.
Yeah, I mean, when you were here, of course, you always talked about you played that up well, talking about how this really is the province's team. I mean, how special is it the fact that a lot of those great fans got to see a game without getting on a ferry? And really, there was fans coming from all over the place, not just the island, here, the interior, wherever.
Well, even Canada. I mean, you saw people there with Bomber jerseys,
every
Rough Rider jerseys. Yeah.
Well, you know what? The CFL fans are in my mind, very, very special. And people sometimes say, hey, he's a Bomber fan or a Rider fan. And I say, you know what? I love all the CFL fans because it's, these are all passionate people that love the game and they love their team. So when you watch a thing like happen on the weekend in Victoria, you see the passion and the support the CFL has within our country.
And Wally, watching the games these past couple of weeks, obviously one of the big storylines with this team is the return of Nathan Rourke. But watching from afar, does it make sense to you that Nathan's play has ascended every single week since returning to the CFL?
Well, again, in fairness to Nathan, you can't come off a plane, put on a uniform, and think you're going to be as sharp as you were 2 years ago. So, you got to give the young man credit for going out there and doing the very best he could do. But, you got pros on the other team that take a lot of pride in making sure that you don't look so good. So, the good thing is, every game he's gotten really a lot better. And I think, the team on Sunday really helped them. The game before that, the offense wasn't as sharp, and obviously it affects the quarterback the most.
Wally Buono is our guest. Wally, drawing a parallel a little bit, I'm not going to say that this is going to occur, but I want to get your thoughts. 2011, you have a team that goes through an 0-5 start and finishes 11-7, wins a Grey Cup. So you've been on a team that's lost 5 games in a row.
Don't remind me, Moch. I appreciate it, okay? But I got to start having...
I guess the point that I'm making is when you go through that type of adversity in a year, in a season, what's the key to, A, turning it around, and how much stronger does that make you?
Well, the thing about turning it around is that you got to put the things that happen to you, behind you. You can't dwell on last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. You didn't play good enough football. And the big thing, I think, is you have to admit that you're not playing good football. It's not the guy next to you. It's not the 2 guys next to you. It's you plus everybody else on your football team. Once everybody there realizes that they're not playing at the level they should be, then they can do something about it. I've always said, the best and only excuse for losing is you're not good enough. It's not because the officials screwed you. It's not because it was too hot. It's not because I had to travel back east. We just didn't play good enough. We weren't good enough. The other team was better. Once you can accept that, then you could do something about it. And, you look at the Lions on Sunday, they did something about it. They came out with a lot of intensity. They played great football, and, it wasn't even a match. Yeah,
and hopefully they can keep it up against your former team, the Alouettes in Montreal, this Friday night. Coach, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Always,
nice
guys.
to see
Thanks,
you
Wally.
all the time. Wally Buono.
Appreciate it, guys.
There he is, the GOAT, the CFL's winningest coach of all time, Mr. Wally Buono, joining us here at Speed's Pub in Ladner for a couple minutes. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to wrap things up with Kowalski's world-famous trivia, and we're going to have a special guest as well. You're listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW.
This is Lions on Tap, presented by Coors Light, the chill choice and official beer of the BC Lions. Now it's time for Nick Kowalski's world-famous trivia.
It's the Mode, Bob Marjanovic, along with Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski from the Lions. Before we get to Kowalski's world-famous trivia, we got to get this guy on air for at least a minute or two. He is a Canadian Football Hall of Famer. He is part of the BC Lions' 50th anniversary all-time dream team. He is the monster, the manster, Jim Mills, 10 years in the CFL. Millsy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to see you guys here in Ladner. Thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you for coming on board tonight for a couple minutes. What's keeping you busy these days?
A little bit of golf. Bought a place in Birch Bay with a friend and working on that and enjoying the weather.
Awesome. You still keeping tabs on the Lions?
Yeah, absolutely. It was fantastic in Victoria. It was nice to see. And our young rookie here played great.
Ronald Kent, yeah.
Yeah, and I love the Western Division. It's so close. I don't remember the last 40 years being so tight and so interesting.
Well, tell you what, you got to come out to practice one day. You know what? It'd be nice to have you out there talk to some of the young guys, give them some tips.
I'd love that.
Well, you should come out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out before the end of the night because I know Julio would love to see you.
Yeah,
he tells
Julio.
Me, we'll talk about the story in Hawaii the next time. The time you went to Hawaii.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about
that. You got upgraded and all that. So that's another time.
Is it the PG version?
The PG version.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, thanks for stopping by.
Okay, thank you, and congratulations, Lions. Let's keep going, baby.
There you go.
Thanks,
Jim
Millsy.
Mills, Hall of Famer. Part of the BC Lions 50th anniversary dream team, and great to have him in the house as well. Wanted to acknowledge Jim because you always acknowledge the past and you always acknowledge greatness. All right, Kowalski, what do you got for us tonight?
All right. Well, in Victoria on Saturday, Justin McInnes hit an accomplishment. 1,000 yards, right? Receiving?
Yep.
He became the 25th BC Lion to do so. So we're going to make it a little interesting here. I'm going to play. You guys are going to go back and forth and name me the other 24 receivers to ever hit 1,000 yards receiving in a season.
Yep.
We'll play on a 5-strike rule. And
No,
the one,
3-strike.
Okay, we'll see.
Survivor.
You're feeling confident.
3?
Right.
It's Survivor.
We can do this.
I'm going to
yeah.
keep score here. The kicker is if somebody's done it once, they're worth 2 points. If they've done it more than once, they're worth 1 point.
Yeah,
Got
okay,
it.
whatever.
All right, so we'll start with Mo.
G. Roy Simon.
G. Roy Simon is correct. Go ahead, Baker.
Brian Burnham.
Brian Burnham is correct.
Alexander Hollins.
Alexander Hollins is correct.
Manny Arsenault.
Manny Arsenault is correct. Right here.
Jason Claremont.
That's correct.
There you go.
Keep going here.
Nick Moore.
Nick Moore, that's a two-pointer. He done it once. So congratulations, Baker. You're in the lead.
I'll go Jim Young.
Jim Young has done it. He was the first guy to ever do it, actually, in 1970. Go ahead,
Mervyn
Baker.
Fernandez.
Mervyn Fernandez
You
did
don't
it
use,
multiple
that's my
times.
guy. You're not supposed to use Mervyn Fernandez.
4-time. I gotta
That's
find
your era.
Burnham.
Yeah.
I know. Now I'm stuck.
What's Kowalski doing here?
Let's
I'm revealing all
go
the names here.
Ray Alexander.
Ray Alexander is correct. Go ahead,
Ray
Moj.
Alexander
Baker.
is correct. That's a good one. Ryan Thelwell.
Ryan Thelwell is
Ryan
correct, too.
Thelwell,
I gotta
Thelwell.
find these. I didn't place his order. Okay, we're good, though.
Let's go Matt Clark.
Matt Clark is correct. I just picked that one up. That's a two-pointer,
That's
too.
a
So
two-pointer.
we're tied. We're
Wally,
tied.
what are you giving me? Darren Flutie. I'm going Darren Flutie.
Darren Flutie is, of course,
Woo-hoo!
correct.
There we go.
There we go.
Thanks, Wally.
I gotta find him, though.
My turn.
I think he's right here. Yeah, there's Darren Flutie. Go ahead, Baker.
Keon Hatcher.
Keon Hatcher is correct. He's actually done it twice. The last 2 seasons here. So this is where we're missing. This is McInnes right here at the bottom if you're watching.
I said Justin McInnes.
Yep.
Yeah, you
McInnes
said it
already
right
correct.
there.
You're up, Moj.
Oh,
Your
man.
turn.
There's a whole bunch
You got a couple from the 70s still there. A couple from the 90s.
Mike Trevathan.
Mike
Yeah.
Trevathan
Thanks,
is the correct
thanks, Wally.
answer.
Wally's helping me.
Wally Buono's on the board here.
More
Mike
than
Trevathan
one.
did it twice. A couple guys recently.
Is it Moj's turn?
Yeah, go ahead,
Sure.
Moj.
No, I got Mike Trevathan.
Wally got Mike turn. Okay.
We'll give it to Moj. 5-4 Moj. Baker, you're up.
Oh, boy. Okay. Lucky Whitehead had to
Lucky
do it.
Whitehead
Yep.
is correct.
Ooh, nicely
and
done.
that's a two-pointer. He did it once in 2022.
Okay, so you're talking 70s.
Yep. Couple guys here, 80s, 90s, all
I
eras.
can't. I don't want to go Leon Neon. It wasn't Leon Neon. I'm missing somebody else in the 70s. And I'm trying to remember who it is.
Two guys in the 2000s who did it. 3 actually.
Oh,
Actually, you said Ryan Thelwell, right?
I did.
You did. Okay. So Ryan Thelwell is off the board.
Leon Bright.
Leon Bright is incorrect. There's
Thank
strike
you.
one.
That's what. What?
Paris Jackson.
Paris Jackson's correct, Baker. That's another good one.
Wally, what do you got for me? Matt Clark. I said we got
Matt Clark, we got him on the board here. Yeah,
Clark.
two-pointer.
The 70s.
You guys are missing a guy who did it in 1981. He's
Harry
a
Holt.
one-timer. Incorrect.
You said 1981?
1985 and 1987 is the other one. 1990 is one.
Ned Armour.
No,
Incorrect.
Ned
Ned Armour
Armour,
never
no.
did it. One guy did it in 1989.
1980.
Oh, you guys are going to kick yourself for this one.
Oh, David Williams. David Williams.
David Williams is the correct answer.
Thank
I
you.
just got to find him here.
And there's
David
one,
Williams is, where is he here? Right here, 88 and 89.
Thank you. That's 2
There's
points.
some big names here. The 97-2000 guy you guys will know for sure.
Alfred Jackson.
Alfred Jackson,
Oh,
there you
AJ,
go.
good one.
Yeah.
You guys are missing one more recent one in between 2019 and 2023.
Ah, wow.
Come on, Bakes. That's your era.
This is my era.
It was a massive year, too. Think Nathan Rourke. Massive year.
Javon Catoy.
Incorrect.
No. Why? I'm killing myself
We,
here.
we just saw our old
Mo,
friend.
jump in,
Our
Moj.
old friend. We just saw
our
him.
old friend.
Dom Rhymes.
Dom Rhymes. Dom Rhymes did it.
How do we forget Dom Rhymes?
Sorry, Dom, if you're listening.
Yeah.
How about this guy? 03 did it once. Initial. I'll give you initials now.
Okay.
CB.
Chris Brazel.
Chris Brazel in
Okay.
03 did it once. JC in 1990.
Jason Claremont. I
No,
had-
1990. Oh, Jay Christensen.
Jay
Oh,
Christensen,
the
that's
former
yeah.
Okanagan Sun
Yeah.
member.
That's a good
There we
pull.
Yeah.
This guy was a good receiver. 89 he did it. He did it once.
Okay, we got to run out of time, so you just give us the last 3.
Last names you guys missed were Eric Streeter in 89.
Oh, wow.
Jerry Sandusky in 85
Oh,
and 87.
Jerry
Jim-
Sandusky.
Jim Sandusky.
Jim
my bad.
Sandusky,
My bad.
yeah.
And this is the last one. One
Ty
time.
Gray. Jim Sandusky.
Ty Gray.
The guy invented the gloves, the sticky gloves.
So there's a list. 25 guys. A lot of
We
legends.
did pretty good there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cleared the board.
Sorry, Dom, if you're listening.
Yeah.
We remembered Lucky.
Jim Sandusky, by the way, he's the guy
Yes,
that created
Jim.
he used it like they were cutter glasses that they used for the guys that did the glass and all that. Anyway, he
Wally's yelling something. Yeah.
we need another hour because we got to get out of here now. The clock's ticking. On behalf of everybody here at Speed's Pub in Ladner, big shout out to Ronnie Patterson and everyone. Thanks for having us. Our producer on site, Mike Whittingham. Big thank you to Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, all of our guests tonight. Wally Buono, Jim Mills,
Jamboree.
of course, Ronald Kent Jr., Sean Whyte, all in the house. And a big thank you to everyone. You know what I'm going to tell you before we get out of here? Do what you got to do. People, enjoy life. Just do us a favor. Be safe. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.